Hi, my name is Abel John, and I'm an SAT perfect scorer. The night before, I was definitely, I guess was a bit tense about the test, and so, the time that it took me to fall asleep was a lot longer than it usually might take. I probably only got 4 or 5 hours of sleep before I took the actual test. So heading into the actual test, when I woke up in the morning, I talked with my mom and my dad, and I was like, I'm not sure if I really want to take the test because I didn't get the right amount of sleep. And they were like, you might as well go for it. And I was like, I felt prepared enough. I just wasn't sure if I was in the right mental state. When I took the test, it was, I didn't think it was that bad at all, but I didn't probably have the same level of confidence that you might expect out of a perfect score. What made the difference is I was prepared through programs like Testmasters. That made all the difference. So on the day the scores came out, I took the December SAT, so it came out on winter break, the beginning of it at least. I had a couple other things going on, so if anything, my mind wasn't really on the SAT, and it was only when I got the email from College Board that it finally clicked, oh yeah, I have to check my score. So I went into it with not really the highest expectations because again, I wasn't sure how ready I was for the test when I took it. But when I checked the score and opened the portal and I saw my score, it said 1600, and at first it took me a couple seconds to process because I figured there's a scale on the score report that shows it going from 400 to 1600, but then that 1600 is in bold, and that was a pretty exciting moment. I ran to show my mom and dad, and it was a pretty good way to start off winter break. I had a lot of different things that I was doing in school, whether it be tennis at the start of the year or debate, which is an extracurricular I really enjoy doing. It really took out time, as well as academics, of course. It took out time from time that I could have potentially have been spent preparing for the SAT, which is why I kind of really liked what Testmasters had to offer through the exam club. I was able to come in on Saturday mornings and take the practice tests, such as the Testmasters offers questions that are similar to what you might see on the SAT through exam club. And just doing that on a consistent basis really helped me feel prepared, assured me that I knew what I was going to be doing when I took the real deal. Nerves weren't an issue, or as much of an issue as I might have expected it to be. Exam club definitely was one of the big things Testmasters had to offer. I know, a lot of my friends, and I'm sure a lot of high schoolers are also going to be very busy. Being able to come in on the weekend and take a test was definitely, very helpful. But another thing that, Testmasters had to offer, it's a test prep center, so they had good preparation for different sections of the SAT. One thing I found really helpful was reading strategies when I have to analyze the passage. Previously, I had a different I guess routine for doing it, but Testmasters definitely showed me how to analyze it better, how to understand the question better, and at that point it just mattered on what I did with the exam club and how much I was able to hone my skills. Speaking of skills, one thing that I definitely was able to improve on was catching Sour Patch candy. They did a good job, giving us candy while we were preparing for the test. That helped me feel a little more confident about the test, and it was definitely a much sweeter situation. So if there's one piece of advice I could offer to all students looking to take the SAT in the future, it's that you definitely should be practicing when you get the opportunity. I know it's difficult. It was difficult during my junior year, and it's probably going to be difficult for you as well. But again, through programs like the exam club and being able to take it on the weekends, it offers that alternative. I definitely think that everybody that wants to score high on the SAT, maybe even get a perfect score, has to be willing to go the extra mile when it comes to practice, and being able to do so without really affecting your routine is something that I really liked and enjoyed about Testmasters. Surprise, surprise, I'm actually looking into going into college. I definitely think that by getting a 1600 on the SAT, it helps me have a very relaxed and enjoyable senior year, which is also something I'm definitely looking forward to, but it opens a lot of doors into a lot of colleges that I'm looking into for my prospective majors. It makes the next year of my life enjoyable, and also opens a lot of gateways to a lot of future opportunities for me.